Hey, Volkish Neurotips, Guy Fieri here on the next stop in our extermination, vindication, investigation of the Nazi nation. We've been brewed up, chewed up, dug up, and barbecued up. We tried out the poop diamonds and took in a symphony performance at Auschwitz, but we ain't seen nothing yet. So click your heels and disengage your feels. We're on the hunt for the world's greatest death camps, despots, and dives. And this is Belsic. Yet again, we find ourselves conveniently ensconced behind the former Iron Curtain with nothing but eyewitness accounts carefully curated by Polish and Soviet propaganda agents to tell us about that most egregious and brutal crime humanity has ever seen. Mobile murder gassing vans trundling around the countryside proved to be a little too inefficient and costly for the German death machine. I mean, we're trying to run a Europe-wide genocide here, not a delousing delivery service. Thankfully, good old-fashioned Deutsch innovation came through just when it was needed, and an all-new, revolutionary, off-the-hook, shortcut to Flavortown extermination machine was installed here in Belzic in 1942. The great fry daddy of them all, the submersible electrified floor and steamer. According to the 1946 Black Book of Polish Jewry, Jews arrived by cattle car at Belzic. Well, those who weren't shot after heroically escaping the train as it moved, you know, because why just shoot people and bury them in the first place when you can kill them in an elaborate labor camp ruse? But I digress. Arriving Jews were counted, exited the train, stripped naked, separated by sex, told that they were here to work, and marched off to take a shower. So far, so good. Gainful employment, room to advance, free haircuts, and new clothes. But then things would go fearfully wrong. Instead of a shower, a room with a metallic floor appeared to our frightened catch of the day. As they entered the room, the floor would sink into a pool of water. Eventually, the water would reach our dear friend's curly forelocks, and an electric charge with a force of 6 million volts would surge through the floor, instantly killing and delicately deep frying everyone inside. Gefilte fish and chips, mate. It's off the chain. But we're not done yet. The floor would then rise out of the water and would be charged with another 6 guerrillion volts that would reduce the bodies to a small bit of ash. Easy peasy. Never mind wondering about what power source could have possibly produced the millions of volts required. The collective force of Jews' imagination is certainly sufficient. If only the Germans hadn't killed them all, we could have harnessed it as an alternative to fossil fuels by now. Renewable, sustainable, clean energy in the form of paranoid, agitated, gastric ulcer-inducing fear and persecution complexes from our echoey, kvetching greatest allies. So I hope you've had your fill, as I know I'm satisfied. Sometimes the tender meat of truth needs to be dry rubbed and braised in the broth of hyperbole. Until next time, for the rightstuff.biz, I'm Guy Fieri, and this has been Death Camps, Despots, and Dives. Yay.
That was glorious.
I'm really hungry right now. It's made me extremely hungry.
I know. Deep fry. Tonight's like the Fry Daddy episode.
There's got to be
chicken,
some,
fried up
some
Jews.
gag about deep frying something.
I was in there. Didn't you hear gefilte fish and chips?
Deep fried gefilte fish.
So hungry for some fried food right now. Oh,
you're hungry hearing about deep frying Jews.
That's right. Oh, yeah. And I hope we don't get killed, because I know that story was the electric floor was a rumor.
The electric floor story is that's what first red pilled me on it, because I was like, wait.
Well, they admitted that was a lie in the 50s.
Well, that was
one of the first ones.
It's interesting how there's certain claims that have been consistently backtracked on. If you're willing to get past the moral shaming you will experience for even in your own mind, for even looking at these things.
Yeah. Wait. Are we talking about the Holocaust or global warming? I forget.
Oh, it doesn't matter because I'm a denier either way.
They're basically the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's interesting when you start, even if you believe what is the current narrative, it's fun to go back and look at what used to be claimed. And see things that were claimed even at the time, and people were like, "Oof, no, that's never."
wait. So we're talking about electric floors, and all the ice caps have now melted.
There's the one that's like,
well, it was literally in the 1946 book of Polish Jewry. The quote in there is that the floor sank into water, and 1,000,000 volts. I said 6 million in the bit because that makes it funnier. But they said literally 1,000,000 volts was shot through the fucking floor.
Well, supposedly it was
kill them.
enough.
It's like
it was
A
enough,
really big number. A really big number.
yeah, 1,000,000 volts. Oh, okay.
supposedly it was enough voltage that it's like the bodies were reduced to ash.
Well, yeah, that was the second. That was when they were
Literally
dead. They would lower them into the water, kill them with 1,000,000 volts, and then raise them out of the water and charge the floor again, and that would just instantly render the bodies into ash.
boom, like that.
Well, now Germans are really
and this story was supposedly this story was floated by the same guy who was the first one to claim 6 million dead.
Oh, really?
Well,
Yeah, I
don't know, man.
I failed to take notes on that as I was just looking for funny jokes for the the script. Somebody should have wrote that down somewhere. But I
Germans
will
are
look back into
really
that.
good
yeah.
overture.
It sounds like something Dr. Evil would do from Austin Powers.
Well, that's the funny thing about it is the more you kind of look at it and think about it, you're more like, wait, this reads kind of like a
Yeah. And the standard of evidence for this stuff, the standard of evidence for these claims is like pathetic.
because if you question it,
Yeah.
you know what you are.
Yeah.
Oh man,
yeah.
so we're back on global warming again.
Yeah, it's a similar
Yeah.
it's a similar
Similar devotion to it's
yeah. Although I would say like global warming, I'd say if you had to pick which one they would give up, they would give up global warming first. But I don't think they're going to give either one up. And here's the one thing I will say about the global warming thing is that the fun thing about it is that it's the one thing that I can publicly shitlord on and not really worry about.
Yeah, there's
like I can say, and I've done it before, even like at work
true.
or
That's
in
true.
public. I'll just be like, global warming, really? And the thing is that because I've got kind of a my personality is such that I tend to dominate conversations. That might surprise
No.
people. Yeah, but
I
so I
always
have like,
thought it's soft-spoken kind of guy.
yeah,
I thought I did all the talking here.
I'm usually a shy, soft-spoken. No, but like because of that factor, the fact that I can be dominant in conversation, I can effectively like on global warming. If I'm shitlording it up, it's like I know that there's no consequences, and I can make it so like nobody's gonna. What are they gonna say? And I'll be like, and you just mock it, right? You just be like, really? So you believe in that shit? Really? 2015, and you're believing? Really?
It's the current year.
Yeah, I've actually pulled that shit. Like, wait, people still believe in global warming? I thought that was done like 5 years ago with ClimateGate. You know, it should have shut the door on it, but didn't. But whatever.
No.
Yeah.
What was the
well, it's the same thing. That's another crime here in Germany, by the way. Is
Oh, really? You're not allowed to question that?
Is publicly questioning details about the Holocaust. And the thing is that the law is so broad that even with the Austin Powers electric floor story, which is patently ridiculous, no matter what it is. If it's tied to the Holocaust, you can't go in public and talk about it.
Which is
at
just
least
crazy.
in a way that's questioning.